Namaste. On behalf of Suranjali Canada, I welcome you all to Pristine Strings concert. Suranjali School of Music was founded by musician couple Sonali Ray and Anjan Ghosh of Toronto to promote traditional Indian music in Canada among young generations. Suranjali is officially registered as a not-for-profit organization dedicated to nurturing, preserving and promoting Indian classical, semi-classical and regional Indian music. Suranjali aims at providing emerging musicians a platform to perform by organizing concerts with illustrious artists and supporting talented local artists. We thank you for your support and being here today. We are proud to present Sitar Maestro Partha Bose of Maihar Gharana, a globe-trotting Indian classical musician for over 3 decades who makes strings speak the language of the soul. His music relates to emotions and sensibilities that break cultural barriers. Bose has been featured in almost all major music festivals, including Sangeet Natak Academy, Tansen Samaro, Saptak Samaro, Alauddin Khan Samaro, Dover Lane Music Conference in Kolkata. He has also distinguished himself in performances at reputed venues in all 5 continents. Bose has been the recipient of the Pandit Nikhil Banerjee Memorial Award and titles of Sangeet Ratna and Vadya Shiromani. In today's program, besides his musical offering, he will engage in a conversation with Ashish Hazra, a well-known stage and television anchor, regarding his musical journey over 5 decades. Ashish Hazra is a well-known television and stage anchor based in Kolkata. Ashish distinguished himself in the areas of audio plays, theatre, voice-over assignments, but has over the years specialized in the art of anchoring live and online events. Bose will be accompanied on tabla by Indranil Mallick. Indranil is considered as one of the leading tabla players of his generation in the national and international arena. Since the age of 5, he has undergone intensive training under eminent masters, including his uncle Montu Mallick, Professor Dabol Bandyopadhyay, Sri Uttam Chakrabarti, and currently he is under the supervision of legendary tabla player Pandit Swapan Chowdhury. Indranil has also distinguished himself in crossover collaborations with Western musicians, including a recent project with Miles Davis Electric Band. Indranil was the first tabla player to receive the prestigious Pandit Bhimsen Joshi Award in 2015.
Greetings to viewers across the globe in different time zones. For a musician, every opportunity to reach out with music to music lovers is special. This is no exception. I'm extremely happy to have this opportunity granted to me by Suranjali Canada, and especially 2 very dear friends and special human beings, Sonali and Anjun, to reach out to you all with my music and maybe more. It is also a great joy for me to have 2 very distinguished professionals with me. Tabla player Indranil Mallick, who needs no introduction as he's been performing all over the world with myself and many other musicians. And of course, Ashish Hazra, well-known anchor, and I've had the privilege of working with him in innumerable concerts in India. So, it's over to Ashish ji.
Well, that was Parthuji for all of you, for all music lovers across the globe. It's a wonderful day out here, and to start off by captioning the man and his music. Mr. Bose is a wonderful instrumentalist of North Indian classical music. And we can start off this program with a piece of his that has endeared him for 40 years and more in India and abroad. I believe it's time ripe enough for Parthuji to start off this program with a small piece of his.
Thank you, Ashish ji. Yes, I feel it's easier to talk to you through music. But just a few words before I actually start. The last 3 years, I believe there has been just one season all over the world. That is winter. Winter not in the sense of cold, low temperatures, but winter in the sense of darkness, harshness, despair. I would like to believe that we are observing finally signs of a very, very gradual return to normalcy. And I would like to describe this transition as spring, not only spring season, but the spring of light, the spring of hope, of aspirations. And I have, I believe, appropriately chosen a morning melody called Basant Mukhari. Basant is the Indian word for spring. So I would like to dedicate this piece, a short alap, which is basically melodic introduction to a raga, freestyle, no rhythms. So Indranil ji will be a patient listener. I would like to present alap in raga Basant Mukhari, dedicating this piece to better times for all of us.
Well, Parthuji, I just can't stop once again repeating that line in the way you put it, that winter is passing away. That famous line, if winter comes, can spring be far behind? We start off with Parthuji's music. Well, after Parthaji had played the music, there is a feeling in me which I feel you will also not disagree with. Don't you feel that a man who creates such music does not only play on the sitar, he takes us with his music to lands unseen, untrodden. And that is what beautifies his music. Automatically, what comes to my mind is to ask as to when he began this journey. His family background. In India, we have families where there may not be professionals playing on the sitar or maybe have taken to music professionally, but they love music. They breathe music. They grow with music. Was it the same with him? And of course, in Indian classical music, Guru plays a very important part, a very important factor while he's training the Shishya, the disciple. Would like to ask Parthaji as to when he began his journey and his relationship, his meeting his Guru, and the ongoing journey till to this date. So,
to be honest, after 54 years of learning music, it's difficult for me to remember a time in my life when I was not learning music.
yeah.
You can imagine I started at 6, and the background is quite different from most professional musicians' background, in the sense that there was no one in my family who was a professional musician or even a seriously pursuing amateur musician. But it was not that nobody in my family played music or nobody was interested. The truth lies somewhere in between. My mother, I believe, had talent in vocal music. She had a melodious voice. But like so many Indian women, she didn't have an opportunity to seriously pursue music. And after getting married, naturally the family responsibilities, those are considered priorities, and only in very special environment one can expect a married woman to pursue and continue in music. In those days, I'm talking about the 60s. But I could remember her singing off and on, mostly Robindra Sangeet, the songs of Tagore, and she had unlimited stock. And while busy with her household chores, she would be humming a tune or singing a song. So essentially I grew up, in a sense, with music. There happened to be a piano in our house. My uncle, the younger one, played on the piano. And there was a time in 1967 when my father picked up the sitar, started learning, because he had a health problem, and along with the treatment he was advised to cultivate a hobby. He took up the sitar. And I have been told, I was too young to remember, there was an occasion when my father's music teacher, Guru, was visiting, and he heard somebody playing on the piano, the ragas he had taught my father.
Okay.
And somebody playing on the piano, that was myself, but obviously with incorrect fingering, because I was not trained, never trained in piano. I used to bang down the keys like this. So Guruji, my father's teacher, asked my father who is playing, and my father said, "Oh, it's my son and he doesn't know any music." But Guruji told my father that, well, apparently he's playing correctly all the compositions I've taught you, while you make mistakes. So it seemed to Guruji that this kid had a little bit of musical ear, as we call it. And he inspired or encouraged my father to let me learn. And maybe just as any other family where kids are encouraged to go into painting or music or dance, so I was initiated to music. And nobody ever dreamed that this would be my life, my mission, and my profession.
As you look back on your journey of music, is there any single influence which you would like to recall today for all of us?
The single most important influence as far as music is concerned has been and will be till the end of my life my guru, Pandit Manoj Shankar. Not only because I started learning from him in 1968 when I was 6, and that period of learning officially ended when he left us on March 9, 2021. The learning, I believe, many musicians believe, continues till the end of the life, because we not only remember what we have learned, but this is research, so unending. We look at the same knowledge from a different point of view with the maturity of age. Guruji was a performer, a teacher, a composer, but much more than that, I believe he was a personality who had the uncanny ability to overwhelm the student. Of course, the student needed to have that sensitivity. That happened in my case, and he was naturally my idol. But I should be honest that my Guruji had a very open mind, and he knew that I had other musicians whom I looked up to as a kind of idol. So the way of teaching, the sheer intensity, the inspiration, the methodology of teaching, and the oceanic patience, all these, I could talk about it all day, all night, but that's not really the point in this program. Apart from that, the journey has witnessed other influences also. So naturally there are a number of great musicians whom I look up to in instrumental music, just to narrow down our discussion. Ustad Ali Akbar Khan, Pandit Ravi Shankar, Pandit Nikhil Banerjee, Ustad Vilayat Khan, Ustad Bahadur Khan, and so on. The list is long. It could be aptly described as the who's who of music. I would mention one particular occasion that was special, not because of how well I played, but because Pandit Kishan Maharaj, who was and is considered to be a legend in the tabla, when he at the age of 84 accompanied me in a concert in Kolkata in a major auditorium, and the very fact that he was performing with me made it very special, because he was known to be accompanying the celebrity musicians or the legendary musicians like Ravi Shankar, Ali Akbar Khan and so on. So the very fact that he was playing with me made it very special, and it was very inspiring. But other than that, I would like to relate one particular incident which is memorable, not for music, but for something which is behind music. I had the opportunity to go to perform in the residence of Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, the legendary vocalist who lived in Pune. And when I was talking to him on the telephone to finalize the time when I would be going to his place, he was giving me directions to his home, the location. And he said that, okay, you come this way, take that road, and when you come to this junction, ask anybody on the road, a certain doctor, he gave the name of a certain doctor, you ask the person on the road about this doctor's clinic. Everybody knows him. Opposite his clinic is my home. And it was Pandit Bhimsen Joshi who was saying that everybody knows this doctor and his clinic, and maybe very few people know him or the location of his house.
Are you talking about his modesty?
Yeah, and the fact is that letters used to reach Bhimsen Joshi when on the envelope it was written Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, Pune, not even the road or the number of the house. And that is what real humility is all about. Not the affected humility that many of us practice. So he believed that this doctor is well known and so on. So these are some of those instances which make me think about music and what is really behind the music. So I think Bhimsen Joshi's music, the spirit behind it, there was this humility that is an essential component, and that is why I think we as students of music, we should
keep it
be
so
aware
close to your heart.
of this, and
Yes.
we should try to emulate, or at least we should not try to project ourselves. Sometimes it becomes very, very obvious and not so nice, if I may say so.
That's a wonderful way of putting humility, and the ambience takes us through a process which makes a man more human along with his music.
When I went to perform abroad, that was in 1991, that was a tour of USA, Canada, my experience filled me with an admiration and respect for audiences in the West. The discipline with which they listen, the sheer concentration, the respect, and a few little things, but they mean much more. You can imagine a concert in India in an auditorium where people are found to be talking in undertones, whispering. But in the West, I don't find any such instance. I think respect for the music is manifest in different ways. Disciplined listening is also a very, very special manifestation of respect. So I believe that it is very, very inspiring for a musician like me to perform in USA, Canada, Europe. And I have a very soft corner for Canada because I've spent a lot of time there, especially in Ontario, in and around Toronto, and it was there that I met Shonali and Anjun, who are the two very special people behind this program. They are accomplished musicians in their own right, and this wonderful endeavor that they have started
At this point of time, then a question probably comes up. I think you have any perception about the future of music with digitization on?
Yes, to some extent. As I've seen the changes in the last 40 years, I feel digitization is here to stay. And the experience of the last 3 years, the pandemic, has made it even more emphatic that we cannot do away with digitization in music. Digital concerts, lessons, all these have served our cause in the last 3 years.
Yeah, they have come for good.
Yeah, and in this global world, I believe that these would help to promote music, to promote musicians, but we should be aware of our priorities.
So well said. A question comes up in my mind. In fact, I'm just willing to put up the question. Tradition. Parthaji was talking about tradition. Certain things are being washed away, certain things coming up. Tradition along with creativity. So how do we put these two things together?
The answer might sound strange. Tradition and creativity are two sides of the same coin. What is creativity today? With the passage of time, that becomes tradition. On a different perspective, our musicality, that also shows that tradition and creativity coexist. For example, the ragas are old, pure ragas, and generations of musicians are practicing and performing, trying to research and improvise and present the ragas from different perspectives. That is why audiences still listen. Otherwise they would be bored. For example, some compositions, which we call gat in instrumental music, I would love to give you a few musical examples. My Guruji, Pandit Manoj Shankarji, his composition in the rag Anandi Kalyan. There have been several gats in rag Anandi Kalyan, but his way of looking at the raga has led to a composition which so many musicians and audiences find remarkable. A musical example. Guruji's composition brings back so many memories. There's a light classical piece which we call dhun, based on Rag Pilu, which he composed. That is usually, a dhun is usually played to conclude a concert. It is like a dessert at the end of a hearty meal. It is sweet but short. In fact, one particular line of this dhun would remind lovers of Rabindra Sangeet or Tagore music of a particular phrase in a Tagore song.
There are certain moments in life when we are just not happy with one meal. We want to go for another. How about a composition of your own, Parthaji, at this point of time?
Rag Khamaj, evening melody, very popular. I've composed a gat, medium tempo. Should be called a jhula gat. Jhula is the Indian word for swing. So sometimes guts or compositions relate to certain motives. So I hope you'll be able to feel the swing, audiences. If you don't, Indranil is to be blamed. He is the master of rhythm.
Well,
I remember another composition of mine in rag Gauti. Certain ragas have their origin in folk music. Gauti is one such North Indian folk music, and has been very popular in India among vocalists and instrumentalists. A composition in Teen Tal, 16 beats, medium fast tempo.
Purity and sublimity went in tandem in this presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we are really entering into a time when we will have to end this program. But as Mr. Bose has put it, that it is a journey. Things have been changing, music is changing, and we've been hearing a lot about fusion as a form of music. Parthaji, your vision on that in a very short span.
I believe for a musician to be successful in fusion music, he or she has to be accomplished in his or her own subject, genre of music, whether Eastern or Western, and also have a reasonable quantum of knowledge about the other musical form. It's not merely knowing your own subject. Maybe I know a little bit of sitar. But if I want to do successful fusion music, and maybe fusion with Western music, Western musicians, I should have a reasonable quantum of knowledge in Western classical, jazz, or other kinds of music. I remember we had a project in Montreal where I was asked to do a workshop with different musicians, some playing Indian music, some playing Western music on Western instruments. And we finally did the workshop and ended up with a short composition. I'll be playing a part of it. I don't claim that is fusion music. I claim that that piece is maybe attractive, at least some people have said so. It has some elements of Indian ragas, specifically Raga Khamaj, and some elements where some Western character of the tunes are manifest. In fact, I'm playing on single melodic line. One stroke on the sitar gives one note. But essentially for harmony, we need more than one note being played together. So if this piece is played with Western music or Western instruments and harmonization is done, maybe it could lead to an acceptable fusion piece. Just a glimpse, maybe. You will find Indranil ji playing tabla not in the Indian classical style. He will be trying to emulate the drum beat because that goes well with this piece. Indian classical music is basically single melodic line. So those Western tunes which are of single melodic line could be played to some extent on an instrument like sitar. One of my favorite tunes. Everybody knows Dr. Zhivago. So music has no boundaries. It is the language of the soul. A musician is first a music lover, and a music lover is supposed to have love for all kinds of music.
It transcends all barriers, and that is what we find in today's journey. I think we are on a journey within a journey. We started off by saying that we are trying to capture the 40 years of his experience, the 40 years of his learning, and as Parthuji puts it, he's still learning. So this enchantment, as he put it, the language of the soul, it's very difficult to capture within such a small time. But still, we'll end with the music which set us forth at the beginning of this journey. Thank you all.
The boatman's song, called Bhatiyali in Indian language, is sung naturally by boatmen, not all of whom are trained in music, in melody or rhythm, but their language, the language of their Bhatiyali song, has the smell of the soil, has the rhythm of the waves. So I would like to play a Bhatiyali dhun composed by myself, where a raga is used, but to express a feeling which goes beyond a raga.